What's going on, everyone? Train Freak Jason here with a certificate that I just been awarded. This is the National Model Railroad Association's, or the NMRA, the Golden Spike Award. This is an achievement program in recognition for completing the requirements established by the achievement program for the construction of a model railroad, aka the Golden Spike. And so I just earned it back on November the 7th. And so this is kind of going to go into today's layout update. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of clear some confusion for those who are interested in trying to complete the Golden Spike, because it's actually a very, very simple certificate to earn. So let's get into it. Alright, so I'm going to move this certificate out of the way, so that way it does not get damaged, because that would not be cool. But, alright, so the first thing in the NMRA Golden Spike that you have to do is you have to display 6 units of rolling stock, either scratch-built, craftsman kits, or detail commercial kits. So, I got a little train here. And let's bring these in. Alright, so you can see that I've got 2 different cars here, and they are different road numbers. And basically all I did on these cars here, I'm going to get the camera closer to it, is I cut off the molded grab irons and stirrups and replaced those with detail ones, and they're brass here, and I left them that way on purpose, so that way you could see exactly what I did. Now, the nice thing about the NMRA Golden Spike is there is no grading involved. So it's either you pass or fail, okay? So that's an example of what you could do on a car. Everyone has recognized this car here. Custom painted, added decals, added, you know, a little bit of a load on it. That's really all I've done on that car there. And of course I just pushed my car off. Let's go to the next one. Another Sidetrack Sunday car. Basically painted, decaled. Then I have my, this is I think it was a Pensy. It was either a Pensy passenger car or it was undecorated, one of the two. But I painted it, but I also filled in the windows with like cardstock, just to basically look like it's boarded up. But I did custom decal it, and I did add some grab irons on this car here. And then for my last car, and I'm sure y'all have seen this one on a video, this was the car that John Arthur, a fellow YouTube modeler that we all know, challenged me to do a weathering. And so even just weathering a car like that counts. So you could do custom paint and decals, adding detail parts, or just even weathering a car. Basically, they want it to where you just didn't go and buy a car and put it on your track. You know, that you did a little bit of extra to it. So that was part 1. I mean, very, very, very simple. Alright, we're going to roll those out of the way. Alright, so part 2 is the model railroad setting, structures, and scenery. Alright, so you got to do 2 things on this one. You have to construct a minimum of 8 square feet of layout, including scenery. And of course, everybody knows that I've got scenery there, and we will talk about why a track is missing here in a minute. We'll get to that in a little bit. But you just got to have 8 square feet. That's easy. That's a 2 by 4. 2 feet by 4 feet. This benchwork is only 2 feet deep, and that is easily 4 feet there. Alright. Construct 5 structures, either scratch built, craftsman kits, or detailed commercial kits. If a module has less than 5 structures, additional structures separate from the scene can be presented. Alright, so that wasn't hard. I mean, we got Riceland here. I've got the Melissa's Deli Cafe over there. I mean, that was a kit I put together. We can walk on around. I mean, we got this little tan house that was a kit I put together. Passed more gas except for the building. The building was done by my friend, but here's probably one of the biggest kits, the Budweiser Brewery. We've got Gamer and Thrones. Then, of course, we have Wilson and Company. I mean, and this was a kit bash that's still not even finished. So, and not to forget, down here in storage, High Stakes Wrench. So, like I said, it doesn't have to be on your layout. If it's a kit that you built, and I mean, it doesn't even have to be weathered. You just got to build a kit. And technically, that's 2 kits. Because the silo, the added on silos was an extra kit. So, very simple. Alright, the last thing. Now, this is something that I've kind of tore up since I've, earned the certificate. And I finally got my certificate in, but I was told I've already earned it. So you got to have 3 types of trackage. For example, a turnout, a crossing, a crossover, etc. And it all must be properly ballasted and installed on proper road bed. Okay, so to explain that, and like I said, I had a turnout here that was feeding in over here to Gamer and Thrones. That's why you can see this is not painted like that is. Of course, we had a turnout here going to that track. And then we also had a turnout going there that goes to the balloon loop. And then, of course, the left track goes off into staging. So there was my 3 types of trackage. And, of course, it was all properly ballasted at the time. So that's why you see all of this loose ballast here. And like I said, I'm going to try to repurpose that stuff. I've got a plan in mind. We're going to go to that in a minute. Alright. The next thing you do is all trackage must be properly wired so that 2 trains can be operated simultaneously. So the way I did that was, and of course I can't do it today because, yeah, I've already ripped track out. I had a train sitting over here behind the double crossover waiting to go into the balloon loop. And then panning back, I had another train coming out of staging, and they both needed to use this section of track here. So basically what I ended up doing was I pulled the first train through, all the way through. It took the diverging track at this turnout and took the balloon loop, and there it is. That's the finish of it. And then I took the other train that was in staging that came out, pulled it out, pulled it through, and sent it on its way over towards Hickory Ridge, eventually Brinkley. So basically I was able to operate 2 individual trains through here. You could do something as simple as if you got a main line and you've got, a siding, you could have a train come from the main line, take the siding, and stop. Have the next train come from the other end, continue down the main line, adjacent to the siding, go past that section. You could stop that train, and then your train on the siding, pull it, and continue it on the main line. That counts. It doesn't have to be like a double track oval. It could be something very simple, okay? You just have to have track wired up to where 2 trains can be operated simultaneously. So, for example, double track main, single track main with sidings, and block or command control, either or. Alright, and then the last thing that you have to do is provide 1 additional electrical feature such as powered operated turnouts, signaling, turnout indication, lighted buildings, etc. Of course, I don't have the layout on, but y'all have seen this here lit, and I'll throw up a picture on it so you can see that. Y'all have even seen the video where I had, the lighted push buttons, and they would throw turnouts and whatnot. And the tortoises are still mounted, except for one, and I'll explain why. But, I had to demonstrate, and for me, the easiest was when I was driving the 2 trains, I had to press this button here to line up that switch so the train and staging could come out. And that's how I did it. And so that's really all you got to do, or something similar. Just have it a lighted building, or better yet, go buy a Woodland Scenic slotted car and plug it in. That's all you need. You just got to have some type of lighted feature. Okay? Or some type of electrical feature, in other words. So, if you're interested in trying to obtain the Golden Spike Award, which is the easiest award you can get from the NMRA, first thing you got to do is you have to be an NMRA member. I don't know what the prices are for your division. That's something that you will have to do some research on. But sign up, become an NMRA member, and then just do what it states. I mean, most of you're already doing it already. So why not go ahead and get the credit, you know, where it's already deserved. So, all right. Other than that, let's talk about the future of the Delta Pines, because right now the Delta Pines is kind of not much happening on it, and that's because I am in the process of replacing turnouts. Okay, so everyone has seen images, or I know the channel members have seen the images where I have made a custom turnout. Now, originally, and this is a number 5. So originally I had a number 4, and the number 4 was located here. So that's why I have the painter's tape right here. It's over the hole, you know, like that hole where the pin underneath the tortoise that throws the points. So the problem is with that being way up here, you know, that's going to make it to where, you know, that track is way up there, and then industries are going to be hard to reach. I mean, guys, I'm on a step stool, and that is how far my hand is reaching. There's no way I would have been able to reach the Game of Thrones. Now, see, it wasn't a big deal at first, because if you noticed, right here you can see the difference between the plywood. I didn't have this piece of benchwork built, and so it ended right up there at that opening. So, not a big deal. Well, now it is a big deal. And I plan on putting a pretty big industry in here. So I want to try to keep the tracks over in this area here, so someone could easily bring in a stool and switch stuff in and out. So a lot of that back there in the back, and I know this box is in the way, a lot of that back there in the back where that sanding block is just going to be straight up scenery that's not going to be rail served. Alright. So I figured the best thing I could do, go ahead, take this turnout out, even though it was already ballasted in, and let's try to move it to where the diverging track is paralleling the track that's taking the balloon loop. That way I can bring that track over here and make it a lot closer. Okay? So that's one of the first things I'm doing. We had a number 4 here. We're going to change that to a number 5. Had a number 4 over there. Same thing, we're changing it to a number 5. So I got 2 number 5 switches that still need to be built. Okay, here I have a number 6. And the number 6 will replace that Atlas switch that I had up there. But before I put that switch in, I got to do some modifications on it for block detection purposes. So I might have to pull some of those ties off, do some wire soldering underneath. I'm not there yet. But the main thing that I had to do is I had to get this ballast off, you know, get the track off. And you remember this was all code 100. Now that's code 83. This one's code 83. My new custom built turnouts that I built myself are also code 83. And we're basically going to replace all this track with code 83. So, including the yard ladder over at staging. Now the yard ladder that I had over there, I had an Atlas curved turnout, which is 30-degree radius on the outside, but it was 24 on the inside. And that was causing my passenger train to derail. So I looked on Fast Track's website, which is, you know, the jigs that I'm using, and I'm going to have to learn how to make turnouts without a jig. And I found they do have some number 10 curved turnouts that are The smallest that I'm going to use is 30 inches on the outside, 27 on the inside. So that, I think that will work. It's not 28 where I want it to be, and worst case, if I keep having my passenger train derail on that one, then I will have to move my passenger train to one of the other tracks that has either the 30-inch radius or the outside track is going to be 36-inch. But having a curved compound yard ladder that I plan on building, it's going to make the staging tracks just a little longer. So that will allow me to do longer trains in operations. So that would be much better. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the plan. Now, about this box here, I just went and bought this at Walmart, like not even 20 minutes ago. Okay, well, this video has been recording for about 15 minutes. So, let's say 30 to 45 minutes ago. And I haven't even opened it out of the box yet. But this is a little vac, and I'm hoping that I can use this to vacuum up this loose ballast, so that way I can reuse it. Because I really don't want to waste ballast, especially since nobody in my area offers the Scenic Express ballast, and I really like that ballast. So yeah, so I'm hoping this works. So that's why I had that box there, and I just wanted to share that with y'all. So other than that, that's kind of, you know, where we're at with the layout as far as like doing operations. It's going to be kind of put on hold right now, except for I could do some simulation on the operations, but I can't take a train in and out of staging. I can't service anything at Weiner right now. I can do Hickory Ridge, I can do Brinkley, but eventually I will be replacing all of them turnouts with my hand-built turnouts as well. So that is going to be a project going down the road. And then of course when I get, you know, frustrated with doing things like that, I will change it up and maybe try to do some scenery and stuff over here in this back corner. And yes, I do have the backdrop taken out for right now because I did pull those pieces out. But basically, you know, I've got a few different things that I can do, but I do want to look at getting the industry that's going to go inside this massive area. And I don't even know how well you can see how big this area is. It's pretty good size. But, you know, it's going to be 3-4 tracks, stub-in tracks, which means I might have to readjust this a little bit, maybe, not sure. If I do, it'll just be replacing this section here. So it shouldn't be too terrible, but we shall see. And, yeah. So model railroading, we always make changes. So other than that, that's all I've got as far as this layout update goes. I am trying to finish up some honeydew project list, so that way I can get back in here more. And of course, you know, they say the model railroading season is picking up when the weather gets nice and cold. So that's already starting to happen. So other than that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video. And if you're interested in being a NMRA Golden Spike Award recipient, feel free to reach out to me via email. Email is in my About section if you're on PC. Mobile, it does not show up. And I will be glad to talk to you and, you know, help you through your process as well. So I'm not an expert. I'm not a master modeler railroader, as some are there's out there, but I can basically give you ideas and suggestions on how it helped me get past. So other than that, y'all be safe out there and happy railroading.